So, is Dolby Vision now available on everything? Now, I don't know if you've seen or heard the chatter on the AVS forums, but there's a bit of a buzz going on. It's been going on for a little while now, and this is about being able to get Dolby Vision, or really a version of Dolby Vision, on any display. Now, how do you do this? Well, first of all, you need some hardware. So let's take a look at this. This is the HD Fury Diva. Now, there are several models that we can use. There's the Diva, the Maestro, and the Vertex 2, and with a bit of tweaking, you can sort of use some of the older models. You can buy this from HD Fury and other places around, and I think it's about $449 US. The prices do vary, and there are a few offers that pop up. But what the heck is it? So let's take a closer look. So this is the HD Fury Diva now. If you have a look, you can see that what we've got is obviously a box. It's got an OLED display on the top that gives us all sorts of information, and there's various inputs and outputs. Now, what's the big deal here? Well, before we have a closer look at the HD Fury Diva, what we need to talk about is edid, Extended Display Identification Data. Now, a lot of people from time to time suffer from HDMI problems and other problems, I guess, but some of these are curable, and the most common HDMI problems are caused by either cables or edid. Now, this data, for those of you that don't know, is actually really, really important. Your TVs and displays and projectors these days don't really work without it. And the way it works is this: when you turn a display on, projector or TV, what happens is it announces what it is, who it's made by, what model it is, all sorts of things. Its display capabilities, what signals it accepts, its resolution, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of data that gets sent out. That streams down through your HDMI cable and gets to your AVR or processor, or to just your source, and then the source then tries to match up through other components in the chain the sort of signal that your system can receive. Now, one of the things that it will say is, I can do HDR10, I cannot do Dolby Vision. All right, so that's a problem for us. Well, for those of us who want to watch Dolby Vision, especially if you've got an Apple TV, because heck, a lot of content's got Dolby Vision, right? And of course, Dolby Vision's coming and is available on various platforms. But for today, we'll talk about the Apple TV 4K. So if you actually want to watch Dolby Vision, and let's drill that down a bit further, what we're really talking about is dynamic tone mapping. What is that? Well, basically the information, you might have seen the term max CLL or max fall pop up here and there, but it's about the luminance of various scenes within a movie. And often that can be set for the entire movie. It can be set by periods in the movie, or it can be set on a scene by scene or even frame by frame basis. Now, up till now, you either needed something like your source to manage that, or something like a Lumigen Radiance Pro, and that would do its own version of dynamic tone mapping. But Dolby Vision is different from HDR10 in this respect. Dolby Vision has a very good form of dynamic tone mapping. So what we'd like to do is take advantage of that, and thanks to a bunch of guys who have done an immense amount of hard work, and you know, thumbs up to you guys, kudos, right? They have now worked out how to use the edid information in devices like the HD Fury, and therefore capture what they call low latency, LLDV, low latency Dolby Vision. And this is a signal that's now available that we can use to capture that dynamic tone mapping. So how do we go about this? Well, first of all, let's go back to our unit and have a good look at it. Okay, so again, this is the HD Fury Diva. This is the top of the line. This is the most expensive model of all. What can it do? What is it? Well, it is a switcher, an HDMI switcher, so you can switch from one input to the other and send it to an output. It is also a matrix. You can send one input to different output. It's also a scaler. You can send 4K in and 1080 out, and an audio signal out. It does a lot of things. It's an amazing edid manager. It has a lot of really good interface structures. It's got the OLED display, and we can cycle through various pages of information here that we can see that it's showing on the display it's connected. Now, the reason I've got the cables connected is it's actually sitting between my Apple TV 4K and our Studio TV, which is a very cheap, very basic LED TV with no Dolby Vision and not much light output either, I might say. So let's have a quick look at this unit. What have we got? Okay, on one side we have we've got an IR receive, we've got LED control, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 HDMI ins labeled from 0 to 4. We have an IR sensor electrical connection, and we've got an IR receiver, optical receiver. Now on the sides there are some buttons. I don't know if you can see those. Just trying to do it without pulling the cables out. Here we have a menu toggle button and an info exit button, and on the other side we have out 0 and out 1 option, and these are up down buttons, and that's how you navigate through the menu. Now on the other side of the unit, hopefully my cables are long enough, I did try this before. Okay, we have, I've got one of my cables isn't going to work for me now, hang on a sec. Alright, flip that over, here we go. Okay, so we have SPDIF output there. You can actually see the fibre optic signal as well. The RS232 control. We've got Ethernet port, which we'll talk about in a second. We've got an audio out, which is also a 720p and 1080p port. We've got a TX0, which is ARC, CNC, etc. And we've got HDMI TX1, which is 1080p SDR, and of course we've got the power. So I'm just going to pop that back down. Right. But how do we control this little sucker? Well, let's have a look here. Okay. Once you've connected the unit up, you have access to a URL, and you can log into the unit at http://mydiva-37 / and that will give you access to this interface. On the first page, it will show the information that you get up on your screen as well, and some generic information. The next part is your edid, and this allows you to configure and choose how you want your edid to run. Your scaler options, so you can choose how you want to scale. You have an HDR and AVI metadata option, which we will be using for this TV. There's a Dolby Vision option as well, which is also important. On-screen display options. So this has a great on-screen display, and I'll show that to you shortly. CEC and eARC, macros that you can create, varying tools. This thing's great. It even has a basic test pattern generator, which is cool. And there's some config options up here as well. Okay. So I'll just show you what's happening on the TV. This is now, we're looking at Aquaman, and you can see the on-screen display here. Now, this is not a Dolby Vision TV, but we're getting the LLDV signal through. Now, bearing in mind it's a basic TV and it's recorded with a with a camera, you're not going to see what I'm seeing, but I can tell you that the picture is really quite impressive. Now, this scene is actually a challenging scene. It sometimes looks overly exposed, for want of a better description, and this has managed it really, really well. Now, I'll also say that I have not fully configured my systems to really be optimized, and to do that, ideally you want to use calibration tools. Now, to set the unit up, we'll just go back to the on-screen display. There we go. You have to go through, there is an online guide, and I'll put the link in the details below. but you need to configure your unit in several of these tabs, right? So you need to set your auto mix with a custom DV string. I'm not going to go through all of it now. I just want to show you what you need to do. We're going to use custom HDR here. We're going to set EOTF, our primaries, our luminance, max CLL and full. And then in our Dolby Vision, we're going to set up our primaries and our actual luminance levels. Okay, once you've done all that, then you're going to be able to set your unit up. Now, if you refer to our Apple TV 4K setup guide, you'll actually find that you can then have the best of absolutely everything. What I mean by that is, if you set your TV to 4K SDR, if you're not sure, please have a look at our Apple TV 4K video. Set it to 4K SDR, match range, match frame rate. When you set this device in action, the Apple TV will prompt you and says, do you want to try Dolby Vision? You say yes. You then go into your settings on your TV, on your Apple TV, and you go back to 4K SDR, you put match range and frame rate, and then all of your content will come up exactly as it was. If it's HDR10, it will come up as HDR10, for example. If it's if it's Dolby Vision, it will come up with the LLDV signal from your HD Fury, and if it's Rec 709, then it will come up as that, which means everything looks. Now, there will be a delay as your TV and especially a projector switches and changes, but that's par for the course. The TVs and the projectors have to reconfigure themselves effectively to manage the different signals. If your TV is not doing that and your picture either looks washed out or strange, then the chances are you're actually not watching it the way you should. Okay, so I think the last thing I just want to show you, I'm just going to go back to here again. I'm just going to unplug the unit and plug it back in, because when you do first power it up, let's have a look. There you go. You get the nice little Diva logo. Not that that's massively important, but yeah, it can sort of clearly demonstrates how that display works. So there you go, folks. I really do want to say thanks to all the guys who did all the hard yards on this, and that work's still going on. Now, you do have to configure it to your particular display for it to work properly, otherwise you're going to be underwhelmed. So, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of competence, I'd say you have to be a 7 perhaps to understand your max CLL, understand your full, understand your nit levels, possibly understand your primaries. You can leave it on the DCI P3 default, but if you are actually able to measure your primaries and put them in, you'll get an even better result. And that's about it, folks. The exciting thing about this is it means that we are going to get Dolby Vision style tone mapping on our displays and our projectors. Now, I can't wait to try this on a projector. I've watched varying footage with it, and overall, I'm pretty damned impressed. So there you go. That's the HD Fury. There's the Diva, the Maestro, and the Vertex 2. We've looked at the interface. There's really not a lot more to say. So I just really want to thank you for watching this video. This is a great little product, and I think we're going to be hearing a whole lot more about it. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Please share this video with your friends, and you know, keep following our home theatre engineering channel. I'm Andrew. Nice talking with you.